without further ado, we'll just get on to introductions. Oh, actually, we better do the right thing. I'll pass over to Liv for acknowledgement of country for those of you who are in a...
Yeah, I'm based in Melbourne. We respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of these lands, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation on which we are meeting today. We recognise the continuing connection to the lands, waters and skies, and we pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all First Nations people present today.
Okay, and to introduce ourselves, so I'll start with me. My name's Claire and I'm a New Zealand trained primary school teacher. I taught in New Zealand for a few years. It took me a while to save up for my big OE and then went over to London, and I lived and worked in London for 2 years on a working holiday visa. When I came back to New Zealand, I started in a role supporting educators making the move, and I've actually done that ever since. So I really love the whole thing of traveling and using teaching as a career to get around and travel. So I'm based here in Auckland as well, and working with the New Zealand-based educators. Liv?
I'm Olivia, Liv. I'm originally from New Zealand, some primary trained, and I moved to London pretty much after I graduated. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, so I thought, why not move across the world and figure that out? I did a bit of supply teaching over there, and I actually ended up working in a recruitment company for pretty much the rest of my time that I was over there, which is great. I moved to Melbourne last Easter and been working with ANZ UK since then. I joined originally on the schools team for temp work for the west of Melbourne, and then joined the global team in September last year. Again, supporting those moving from Australia to the UK, which is epic. Jamie?
Lovely. My name's Jamie. I don't come from an education background. I'm actually a prison guard back in Australia. I followed my partner over here who had big dreams of teaching in the UK, and I found out that ANZ UK could provide myself work. So I was, from January this year, a teaching assistant with ANZ UK up until July, August holidays, where I then got a job in the office, now working as an education recruitment consultant for ANZ UK. That's pretty much me.
Love it. I'll pop in the chat as well, as everyone just wants to let us know whereabouts they are tuning in from. I guess if we can go to the next slide. I guess what we'll be covering. Essentially, it's a super broad overview around a little bit about us as a company, but also journey to the UK, the process and kind of what's involved, things like the visas, accommodation, all that side of things, social events, like Claire said, if you have any questions, just pop them through in the chat, or feel free to turn your mic off and ask us. We have questions at the end as well, but there's just a broad overview of how ANZ UK can support you in your journey over to the UK.
There's people popping things in the chat. Just it's good to know where you are sort of based, so we can sort of. Are there any Kiwis on? Melbournians?
There's lots from Melbourne, I think.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, one from Tassie. Cool.
Cool. Oh, nice. Yep. All right, so just an overview about who ANZ UK are as a company. We are global. We have offices across the world. So obviously tonight we're going to be talking about our locations in the UK. We have 4 offices across the UK, and we'll be going into more detail about those and where we can help you there. You're probably familiar, but we do have 9 offices across Australia as well. And that's for local work in Australia too. So I'm busy sending.
No, did it? Please.
She's froze.
Here in New Zealand.
Oh, you just froze for a bit, Claire. Sorry.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so we've also got 2 offices in New Zealand under EP Education, and we can support educators coming to work in New Zealand as well. We've got 14 offices across the state under Scoot Education. So the whole idea is that wherever you are in the world, you will be able to speak to someone in ANZ UK in your time zone. And we would like to follow you on your teaching journey. So we have educators who will go straight to teach in London. A lot of New Zealanders aren't quite ready to come back and live in Timaru again, so they'll come back and base themselves in Sydney or something like that. So we can support you around the world, and we are all one team. We're really proud of working together, and it's all about finding you the right role. So what's going on over there, Jamie?
Yeah, it's getting to the busy period at the moment. There's a lot of holidays being planned. There's a school that are coming up to their Christmas break. They're really looking to, I suppose, get themselves sorted for January 2024. And obviously, for the educators who may know, January until July is the last sort of couple of terms of the schooling year over here. So they're looking at locking in educators for jobs, teaching assistants, receptionists, teachers, anything that they sort of need to make their last 7 months or so easy as possible. So yeah, term one's been cold. It's been quite of a fresh sort of start to each morning, but our educators are braving it really, really well. And we're keeping in contact with them as best we can to make sure that they're getting to school okay and they're enjoying their roles. At the moment, we had a couple of events on as well, which it was really great to catch up with some educators in the office here on a Thursday night. We had a few drinks. We played a bit of bingo. I found out that I was horrible at bingo, which was great. And yeah, it was a really good chance to be able to have people in the office and just chat, see how they're going, not only just in schools, but also living. If there's anything that, we have sort of done that they were seeking questions for, we were able to sort of help them out as best we can. And we have another couple of events coming up as well with the Christmas party as well at a rooftop bar, which is going to be fantastic. I think we've got about 30 or 40 sort of locked in educators coming, which will be great fun. We hold these events pretty regularly as a chance to, keep some contact between us, just not over the phone. It's always it can be some dry phone calls and things like that, just seeing if you're ready for work and stuff. But we love to be able to meet face to face, have a drink, have a laugh, and yeah, just really sort of build a good bond. But that's sort of coming up in the next, I think that's next week, our Christmas event, and then yeah, we've got some new UK bound events coming in January, which is fantastic too.
Yeah, something on those notes. No, keep ploughing on. Hey, love.
Helen?
Is this me? I can't
Yeah, you
quite
can
see
go
the
if you want.
notes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, reasons to teach and work in the UK. People have all sorts of different reasons for heading over there. Predominantly, the overarching one for most people is obviously the luxury of travel, and we'll hear more about that tonight. But just instead of popping over to I always say New Zealand, popping to Taupo for the weekend, you're popping over to Portugal for the weekend, and it's a reality. Your Europe is just at your doorstep, so it's pretty incredible having that as your base, and earning the pound also makes that travel a lot more less stressful and easier as well. But there's a lot of other things that come out of teaching over there as huge side benefits. One of the best things is actually just really freaking yourself out and putting yourself right out of your comfort zone, packing up your life, moving to the other side of the world, starting somewhere new. It's those big life changes are those pivoting things in your life. So just making yourself do that is you'll look back on that and be thankful that you've done that. Overseas experience on CV is really highly valued from Australian and New Zealand principals as well, and it stands you out from other candidates when they're looking to appoint. So if you've had experience in the UK curriculum, it's also a really nice stepping stone to move into the international school sector as well. And generally, most of our educators, when they come home, it's a nice way to move up the ladder as well and step into more leadership roles too. And then obviously, as Jamie said, we are really big on events and creating opportunities for our educators to connect. So you will definitely make friends for life. You'll have your London friends, and they'll be, you know, your friends for the rest of your life. I'm still great mates with mine. So yeah, there's lots of different reasons. Have you guys got anything else to chip in on that one?
Yeah, it was just pretty much what you just said, Claire. Like, yeah, making friends. I moved over. I didn't know anyone that I didn't know anyone at all. Kind of one girl I went to high school with, like pretty loosely. But yeah, there's a huge, obviously, expat community over in the UK. And yeah, I live with like all Aussies and Kiwis pretty much the whole 2 years, which is like pretty standard. But yeah, like met some of my like now best friends over there, whether that was in London or like did a Kentucky when I first moved over, and like met some people on that bus as well. So yeah, like you literally never know where you meet people. But yeah.
And lots of our educators do go over by themselves
Yeah.
as well. And it's actually the best way to meet so many more people, because you have to sort of put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So
the events in Australia are fantastic too. But before you leave, I've kept in contact with a few people who I've met there. We now play for the same football team. If you see that in the background, I'll do a little plug for the Wandsworth Demons. Get down and have a kick of Aussie rules if you want. We've got 2 female teams and 3 male teams, and it's a blast, fantastic. And we've all met down there together for training, and we socialised all the way back from Geelong in Australia, where we all sort of met each other. So we've sort of made the journey together, and it's been nice to sort of bounce off people along the way. So yeah, it is fantastic.
oh, there we go. See, I should let you do this, love. I don't know how I managed to do that. Oh, there we go. Hold on, hold the phone. I think I am. Here we go. Done that one. Just having just reflecting on the slides that we've been on.
But yeah. So yeah, steps in your journey. Everyone's journey can be quite different. Some people I speak to like this week, I'm heading over at the end of the month. Some people you speak to are like heading over in like 2025 onwards. So get super different timelines for everyone, but yeah, essentially first step along with this like webinar would be having a call with our team. So obviously me here in Australia, I've got Matilda as well, and Claire's in New Zealand. So yeah, have a chat with our team. We talk you through like the visa things, where you're looking to live, like preferences, job things, and all that kind of thing. And then from there, we pop you in touch with the relevant office. So we'll touch on the office locations in a second, I guess. But yeah, essentially, if depending on where you're looking to live and like move, you'll have a consultant in that team. So if you're looking to live in the southeast of London, Jamie might be your consultant. And then yeah, they're kind of like your UK point of contact. They set up an initial video phone call with you, and then yeah, again, like timeline can be quite different initially. Every 2 months, and then in the lead up probably a bit more frequent. Really up to you to kind of drive that on how much contact and support that you need, because everyone's quite different, which I keep saying, but it's so true. Yeah, and then from there you can definitely interview online for roles if you're looking for a contract. If it's closer to the time, again, yeah, timelines can vary. And then yeah, within about 2 months of you arriving in the UK or like leaving Australia, a compliance team start the process. So our aim is that you're all cleared for work before you leave Australia, so you don't have to worry about things like references, police checks, like yeah, photos, all that kind of jazz. It's all done and you're signed off. And then yeah, within that compliance aspect, you have a registration with your consultant. So someone like Jamie again, just to confirm all the details, the last kind of step, and then you're cleared for work. And then yeah, you're in the classroom. So obviously, like I said, from that step 1 to step 6 can be quite long. But yeah, we can get the ball rolling with contact from the UK team anywhere from 12 months out. So if you're looking to head over, next year at the end of December, then yeah, definitely we can start that process now for sure.
yeah, just to reiterate what you said there, Liv. I did steps 1 to 6 as a TA. Now being in the office, I can see how confusing it can get for you. You only like sort of comms are via email. So if you do get stuck, please reach out with an email to your consultants, because I can understand how it can sort of
Yeah.
get a little bit too much. You don't know where you're at. We're always here to answer any questions. Just to reiterate that fact, absolutely, Liv.
Yeah, defs. Love that. But yeah, I guess when's the best time to arrive? Jamie, do you want to go through this, or I'm happy to, or?
Yeah, no worries. Best time to arrive. I actually arrived in January of this year. Quite cold, quite dark. There's a lot of fresh mornings, but I think in terms of your arrival, we've got that autumn term up the top there, from September to mid October, and then we've got half term breaks. Which is just a week off that we've had recently, and then we lead up until the Christmas break, 21st of December to the 4th of January, as you can see there. Which it's a fantastic sort of time. You've got your Christmas markets around London. People are flying off around Europe and doing all sorts of fun and amazing things, and some brilliant sort of scenery to be seen, especially in London. If you don't feel like coming, heading off anywhere, and you want that sort of London Christmas, which is what I'm opting for this year, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. Which is a fantastic time. And then we move into the spring term. We've got from the 8th of Jan, we kick back off. There is a half-term break in the middle of there. And then we have a little run up until Easter. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, you see that sort of the sun start to pop out a little bit earlier. The mornings are nice and crisp, but you've got that nice sunny glow. And then obviously that sort of time to arrive, you've got the luxury of having the summer holidays coming up, as you can see below. There's quite a break in the summer holidays, which is, I think we had 6.5 to 7 weeks this year. Actually, a few schools opted to shut a little bit later into the 23-24 year. So a lot of traveling to be done there. And it's a good time to sort of arrive prior to that. You can dip your toes into the water with some work and see what the schools are like, get a bit of a feel for it. Then you've got a little bit of a break afterwards, which is fantastic. And I think that coming into the summer terms, coming into the summer holidays, I saw a lot of my educator friends come over, and they love to start that, do a month of work, try and feel their way into it, and then they shoot off to all parts of Europe with a little bit of cash in their pocket as well, which was really cool. And then you've got the summer holidays to keep in touch with your consultant about any jobs that may pop up. You might be thinking, I want to do day to day, and now I want to do long term, or vice versa, or anything like that. And it's a great sort of opportunity to have that break time to keep in contact and sort of get yourself set for the following sort of term. But that period between sort of March to May, I think a fantastic time to come over if there are people coming over at that time. And you can sort of see both sides of it. You've got some nice weather. You've got some opportunity to get away and have a break for yourself. See parts of Europe that you want to. So, yeah, that personally, if I had to go back again, I might have come a little bit later in the year. But I don't regret it at all coming in January if you do.
Yeah, and like definitely, I went over in August, and yeah, for that September start. So yeah, if you're looking for like casual work, you can definitely come in kind of any part of the year. That's all good. And then yeah, contracts get probably, would you say, like kind of start around the start of each term, so like September, January, then like the April kind of May time, or?
Yeah, definitely. We do get contracts all times of the year at the moment, especially with like half-term breaks coming up, and people are finishing maternity cover and bereavement leave and things like that. We're seeing at the moment. So, but definitely at the start of the terms, we are finding schools want to lock someone in for a term of work. So, as you can see, the holiday periods up on the screen there. If you are looking for a certain period of time to lock in some work because you might not be traveling and you want to be able to save some cash before you head off, definitely get in touch with your consultants as early as possible and let them know, hey, I'm around from February right up until April. I'm really interested in locking in some work, or it's great to sort of have that communication with your consultant, because we want to find you the best work possible, and we want to give you the time off to be able to go and travel and do all these things.
Definitely. And I'll put in the chat. Yeah, so when is everyone looking to head over to the UK? I don't know if anyone's got any flights booked or
to consider, as well as towards the end of the academic year, the casual work starts to quieten up. So if you got there in June, it's a bit like November here in Australia and New Zealand. So you're not going to be earning too much money before that 6-week summer holiday break. So just something to factor into your planning.
Yeah.
And actually, there's a question there. I can't get back over it.
Yeah.
Can you see that question?
Yeah, Matt just asked, is it possible to get longer / permanent positions, or is it mostly contract? Did you...
Sorry, can you repeat that one? You just cut out a sec, mate.
Oh, can you hear me? Yeah. Is it possible to get longer / permanent positions, or is it mostly contracts?
No, definitely. Matt, I think, was asked that. Matt, we definitely have long-term permanent positions. I think we've had a lot of educators lock into schools and long-term before they even come over to Australia. That's definitely an option. The work variety, especially at the moment, looking into 2024 for schools, they're looking to lock people in at all sorts of different timeframes, maybe a term, maybe up until the end of the academic year, or into the July sort of area, and then and further, of course, that we find all sorts of work, and especially those longer permanent positions are very, very sought after at the moment.
Yeah.
And they'd normally be the September start sort of arriving, wouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So visa requirements. We won't touch too much on this in a lot, because there's a lot to kind of unpack when it comes to visas. But we'll kind of go through, I guess, like the main ones. So probably the most common visa is the Youth Mobility Scheme visa. And this will be just changing actually at the end of January. It's already changed for Kiwis, but yeah, essentially, it's a 2-year working holiday visa, once in a lifetime. That's what I went over on. I think a majority of people go over to the UK on the visa. You can apply before your 31st birthday, but yeah, in January it's changing to be under 35 or under 36, which is great. So the age has been extended, and you can apply anywhere from 6 months out. So if you're looking to go over in June, you can apply for that kind of now, like early next year. It's pretty quick to be processed. Definitely, I know here in Melbourne, it's like kind of 2 weeks kind of time. But yeah, at the moment, again, it's a two-year visa. It's soon to be changing to a 3-year visa. It's already come into play for the Kiwis, which is very lucky. So that's all good to go. There's two kind of costs to the visa application fees. So you've got the just general application cost, which is £298. And then on top of that, you're also paying for the immigration healthcare surcharge. So essentially, when you go over there, you're fully covered by the NHS. That's like their national health system. So like the doctor, there's no extra charge. Dentist is really cheap. All that things, obviously it comes with a cost. So at the moment, that's £470 per year. So you're timing it by 2 because it's a 2-year visa. Even if you're looking to go just for 12 months, you still pay for that whole 2-year period. So all up, it's like £940 plus that 298. So it's around the £1,200 mark. So yeah, like I said, 2-year visa, good to go. If you aren't eligible for that, you might have British grandparents, which is super lucky, 1 or more. You can apply for an ancestry visa, and that is a 5-year working holiday visa essentially. It's a little bit different. It costs a bit more because you're paying for that healthcare surcharge for 5 years rather than just the 2. And yeah, something to explore if you are lucky enough to have grandparents from the UK, or yeah, if you're over that age bracket for the Youth Mobility Scheme visa. If you don't fit into either of those categories, there's also the skilled worker visa, which is essentially sponsorship. A little bit more tricky. We can definitely help, you through that process and, find schools that need to have the sponsorship kind of quality. And yeah, the job offer comes from the school. It's typically a secondary teacher, like a math, science, Mandarin kind of that teaches like subjects wise. It's not an option at the moment for like early childhood TAs, primary teachers. And yeah, it's usually like a 3-year kind of minimum commitment. But yeah, something that we can definitely unpack in a further call. Other options as well. The main one is an HPI visa, which is more of a new visa, and it's currently open to those who have graduated from the University of Melbourne or the University of Queensland from the last 5 years, which is awesome. You don't have to like a teaching degree, and yeah, that's just kind of a different visa. But we have a blog which we can send through to you guys all around that, and we can talk you through it all. And we do have a visa team who help with the Youth Mobility Scheme visa and the ancestry as well. But Haley's asked, could we stay longer than 2 years with the Youth Mobility Scheme visa? Yeah, so it will be changing. Like I said, at the end of January for Aussies anyway, and you better apply for that 3rd year. So it'll be a 3-year visa. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how that quite looks yet. I know for the Kiwis, you apply for the 2 years as normal, and then when you're over there, you apply for the that 3rd year if you want to, because obviously you've got to pay for the extra 3rd year. But yeah, hopefully that kind of answers that question. But yeah, if you have any questions, we've got heaps of resources around visas, because it is a little bit can be a bit confusing around that. But yeah.
That's fun or not? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry,
yeah.
I think I'm cutting in and out. Okay, so we've, as I mentioned, we do have 4 physical offices across the UK, and then we cover the region remotely. Obviously, we've got our office in London, which is where Jamie is sitting right now. And that's a big team who are split into the sort of different geographies across London. So if you're living in Southeast, then you'll be working locally with the Southeast team. We've got an office in Surrey, which is in the home counties, and the home counties are lovely. They wrap around London. They're generally easy access within the train, sort of under an hour easily on the train. And normally sort of lots of people, professionals, will live in the home counties and then commute into London for work. So Surrey's beautiful. It's what you think of when you think of the lovely little villages and things in England. It's that very picturesque kind of area. So we've got an office in Surrey, and they can support you with casual work as well as long-term roles. And it's a really great, lovely team there in Surrey. We've got an office in Bristol. That's 80 minutes west of London, and Bristol's a great city. It's got a big university. It's got really good access down to that southwest coast to Devon and Cornwall. So if you like the beaches, it's the easiest place to be able to get down to there, which is the only place in England that's got some actual sand and waves as well. So hot property down there. But Bristol's, it's an awesome, vibrant city. And it's the best of both worlds, really, because you can easily pop into London, even if you wanted to go for a day trip. But it's got its own international airport as well. So if you are, going over to Europe, easy airport to travel from. Cheap airlines are all sort of coming and going into Bristol. So that's a really good option. Again, we can get you day-to-day or long-term work there. And we've got an office in Wales as well. So they're based in Newport, really close to Cardiff. And Cardiff is only about 40 minutes around the coast from Bristol. So really different experience living and working in Wales. We do have some Wales-specific webinars you can jump on, but obviously they've got their own language as well. Pay rates are really good in Wales, and cost of living is really cheap. So it can be a really good option if you're a little concerned about finances and things like that. So we'll go into a bit more detail on that. And then we cover the regional areas. So our regional work is permanent only, and generally those roles, as mentioned, will really only be coming up at the start of the academic year in September normally. So we'll go into a bit more depth on those. Be good for you to do this one, Jamie. I think.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to get me screen to get up to date.
Don't
Yeah,
worry,
so
don't worry.
no, I love it. So I myself actually started in Surrey with our Surrey team. I worked in a school, so I can reiterate absolutely that the travel from Surrey to London is quite easy, quite commutable on a daily basis, and those sorts of things. So yeah, so love the Surrey sort of style. That's where I started. Yeah, nice big open fields, beautiful sort of cottage sort of fields down there. The rent was great. We also did some house sitting, trusted house sitters. If anyone's looking at trusted house sitters, we did that, and there are those sorts of options all over the UK. We do have educators who are looking at that sort of option. So if you are looking at bouncing around different areas, living wise, that's absolutely fine. We can definitely offer you work within the closest sort of office, and we can get in touch and say, hey, we've got such and such moving to your area. Would you like to be able to have a chat with them and see what their work looks like? So yeah, Surrey, beautiful, beautiful place. Really, really country sort of feel for all you people back in Oz. London, it's a buzzing, beautiful place. So I'm in love with London. You've got so much amazing sort of transport. You can see one side of London to the other, easily under an hour. You've got all the beautiful things that the UK has to offer in terms of the royal family and all those sorts. And I think that the options of work in schools across London, you've got so much variety. And as we mentioned earlier in the piece, it's really good for your educational career to see so many different options across London and schools. And the options are a lot more there if you do like primary and just primary, or you do like secondary and just secondary, or if you're a teaching assistant looking for some specific sort of work. London is a great spot to live, and commute, and find that work that you sort of want to pinpoint as such. As you can see down the bottom there, rents you can find a little bit more expensive than your Surreys and Wales and those sorts of things, but it is quite a cutthroat market as well for rooms. So you've got to be quite onto the ball and contacting people regularly. So if you find struggles with that, reach out to your consultants as well, because a lot of us have come over from Australia in your position, so we're more than happy to give you some feedback on how we best found a room and things to get you sorted in London. And yeah, there's obviously, as I said down the bottom, there's the public transport is phenomenal. For you people in Melbourne who know the tram system, you've never seen anything like it if you haven't been to London already. It's a million times better, and just a brilliant way to. We live in the southwest of London. I've had work before in the northeast, because it's just so commutable, and you can have that option as I mentioned a little bit earlier. And yeah, that's pretty much London and Surrey. We'll move on to the next couple. So yeah, Wales and Bristol. As I mentioned, we've had quite a few educators in the London office express their interest in going to Wales or going to Bristol for a month, or they might be moving up to do a house sit and things like that, which is what we've got going on at the moment. So it's great to be able to have that flexibility for educators to get in contact with the Wales office or the Bristol office and say, I'm here for a month or 6 weeks. I would love to be able to do some work up here and see what it's like. And we've actually had educators who have found they loved it so much they've stayed there for longer term contracts recently, which is fantastic. And you get to see a different side of it. As Claire mentioned, it is quite a bit cheaper. Cost of living is a lot more affordable than your London. Your public transport and your rents are really, really significantly lower than London, which you'll find. But beautiful, beautiful sort of areas, Bristol and Wales, and fantastic teams to get in contact with as well.
Yeah, and then the regional locations. So that's we can try and source permanent contracts. We would target areas of interest, and that's in mainstream primary, secondary, plus special needs schools as well. And we've sort of touched on this a bit already.
Yeah. Yeah, getting around, like Jamie was saying, like
yeah,
the tube and like London specific, like it's great. It's like every like 30 seconds, every minute. It's like literally unmatched. I remember when I moved there, I'd be like, why are people running for the the underground? Like, it's like a minute wait, but then a year along, I'd be the one running. I'm like, I need to can't miss that. And 30 seconds, it was coming. So the public transport's like is epic, which is great. Overground bus, I got the bus heaps actually when I lived there. Like nice way to like see where you're going rather than just like popping up. That's really good, and sometimes it can be faster potentially depending on where you're actually going. And then, but yeah, otherwise bike. I never biked. I was never that brave to bike in London, but lots of people do, and get that. Obviously, if we can get you around, get to a school that you can walk to, that's the dream. But yeah, you clock up the steps each day anyway, on foot. And yeah, would definitely recommend, like if you're living, Bristol, Surrey, Wales even, to get a car if you can. They're pretty affordable over there, and just gives you more option, I guess, to go to other schools and things. And nice just to be able to get out when you want to and all that jazz. But yeah. And yeah, these we've got heaps of resources which we've probably talked about heaps, and we'll continue talking about. These are just two of them here. We've got a Teach UK info pack, which is literally, I call it like the Bible, and yeah, it goes through everything that you could possibly. I don't know if it clicks through.
I was just trying to think. I don't think it's.
Yeah, I don't know if it's clicked. But yeah, we send this through to you once we've had your call with us, and yeah, it's great. Everything you need to know before you leave, and after you leave, goes through all the compliance in like real thorough detail, and yeah, the whole shebang. And we also have that pre-departure checklist as well, which is really helpful. Yeah, again, before you fly and after you land. But these are all shared with you, and now your follow-up calls they have with us and the consultants in the UK. So yeah, but definitely the one question we get asked every call, I would say that we have, is finding somewhere to live. And yeah, Jamie can probably attest to. I don't know how long it took you to find a place, Jamie, when you moved over, but
definitely. I can just see Haley there has just said about the cost of living, and yeah, absolutely. Right in sort of worrying about that. I worried about that myself. I think the best thing to do, and especially with finding somewhere to live, do as much looking into and research before you come over. Don't get caught over here and then go, oh, I've got to find a house and I don't know what I've sort of looked at. There's some brilliant websites like your Spare Rooms, Spare Room UK. Jump on any real estate website over here as well and have a look, and you can get a really great price guide of different areas in London and seeing, okay, I can live in the southwest for X amount, the southeast looks a little bit cheaper and a little bit more affordable. Maybe I can live out there, and there's some beautiful places around Southwark and Greenwich and those sorts of places. Or you can go up north and find some really nice areas too for a little bit more affordable. So I personally, we did a lot of research into price guiding and seeing what costs where and what might be affordable for us, which we've now relocated into the southwest in Clapham. A lot of people, you'll all know about Clapham eventually. When you get over here, it's an Aussie hub, and you'll see a lot of hear a lot of Aussie accents when you walk in the streets of Clapham. So but again, a fantastic place to sort of meet people, keep in contact with friends and those sorts. There are your share house living options where, like Spare Room, you can log on, you can meet people and chat with people about the options that they have for rooms and things. Definitely always will say go and see a place before you lock in if you can. If you know people and you trust people, which we've had a lot of educators do, go and have a look at a house for them even and say, yep, think it'll suit you. That's no dramas if you're really keen on locking in work. But if you can and you get over here and you can book a time in to see a room, that's ideal, of course. yeah, it is a bit of a tough market, but we found a house within a week because I think, we tried to really, really push and just say, you know what, we're going to see as much as we can as early as possible, and yeah, we ended up finding a nice little room, which was great.
And we definitely recommend everyone, once you've like booked your flights, to book some like temporary accommodation. If that's in London, or like you're trying out different areas as well. That's really good. Whether it's like in an Airbnb, hostel, sublet, like through Aussies in London, Kiwis in London, they're really good as well. Or yeah, like the house sitting that you were talking about before, Jamie. Like lots of people are doing that as well, which is really good. It's like free com, and you like stay in some pretty, can stay in a nice house,
Yeah.
and whatnot. But yeah, most places are furnished as well. You just gotta pay like buy your linen and stuff, for the most part. But yeah, just like definitely like research. I think that's kind of key. That's what everyone I keep seeing people like on TikTok that are moving over, and things. And just yeah, definitely once you're there, it's really good to see where you are, like, in relation to like public transport as well. Whether it's a 15-minute walk, 5-minute walk to the tube, or like a bus, or like whatever as well. But yeah, definitely like allow some time to find a place, for sure. So yeah. I can go through this. So these are the different work options that we offer, at ANZ UK. And yeah, like we said, everyone is quite different, in terms of like what kind of work they're looking for. And you definitely don't have to stick to just one. You can jump between, one, two, three of them. Choice is up to you. It's just like, yeah, having like the communication with your consultant, on the ground, so that they can best support you in finding like the work that you're like looking for. So within, you got like, I guess, the start, which is the supply day-to-day, CRT work, what you call it here in Oz. Essentially, yeah, the day-to-day block cover. We have an in-house built app which you can use, and it's got your availability. It's a calendar on there, and you can block out what days you are and aren't free. Really good just to, once you are there, settle in. You can go to different schools, see what you like, what you don't like, and there's definitely opportunities to move, yeah, into like a contract or like a block of work that way. But yeah, really good initially for when you're there. Within that, we have, our ambassador program. It's essentially like a guaranteed work scheme. We can guarantee you, yeah, up to 5 days of work a week, with that flexibility option, which is really good. And yeah, essentially guaranteed if we couldn't find you work for one day or all 5 days, of that week, we would still pay you, which works well, that casual aspect, but you kind of know how much you're getting in the bank each week. Within that, you also got like the, yeah, long-term contracts. So yeah, your pay does change as well. I guess unlike here in Oz, on a contract you're paid higher, and you're most likely paid on the May pay scale, which is great. And again, everyone's different what they want. Some people want that like structured, part of the school community. They know where they're going every day. They've got their own class. Again, like the behavior management aspect definitely comes into play. And yeah, a really good way to make new relationships in schools. If you want that reference when you go back home, from the headmaster, then that's not a problem either. And then again with the permanent contract as well, so that's like your like long-term, permanent roles, and you're employed directly, yeah, with the school as well. But you're obviously still, involved with our community, come to events and things. Yeah, I think I just touched on hopefully everything. Anything else you guys want to add around that?
Yeah, I think, just quickly, that with the long-term contracts,
Mm.
we find a lot of people really engaging with that and really having a good position in a school, getting to know the school itself, getting to know the system, and we found a lot of educators have said that's a great way to be able
Mm.
to see if schools are for them. I will mention with long-term contracts as well, if you are looking for them, we do have things like trial days. So don't be afraid that if you sign up to a long-term contract, you're locked into that school for X amount of months or whatever. We do make sure that the school's right for you. We can offer you a couple of different trial days, depending on the schools and what sort of work you're looking for. But give you a couple of days to meet the school, meet the teachers and the team and the students, and make sure that it's right for you with commuting and everything like that as well. So don't be afraid if I've got a contract option coming up. We could definitely look at that trial period as well.
And you can definitely secure a role before you leave as well, depending on the time of year
Yeah.
as well. I should have said that. You can definitely interview. There's heaps of people heading over for January start. They've already got those jobs secured, which is epic. Really nice to have that kind of, they know where they're going to be working, so they can kind of help find a place like that way, because they know what area of London they'll be living in, or like what area of the UK they'll be in. So yeah, and that is all over Zoom, Zoom interviews too. But yeah, Tess has just asked what like the pay rates for supply and ambassador program and long-term and permanent roles is. Yeah, pay, it depends on what part of the UK as well that you're going to be living in. And yeah, do you want to talk about this, Jamie, or I'm happy to? Or?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's so our base pay for day-to-day supply is £150 a day. So that is literally you're walking into the school, you're walking out, and you're teaching in the middle of it. Which of course we can always have that conversation with educators in regards to upping pay and things, on great feedback, experience, and things like that. With we want to get educators the money that they're definitely entitled to, and but that is a base rate of £150. When these long-term contracts and things can come up, then we look into the pay scale, as Liv mentioned before, which is like M1 all the way up to M6, and then after M6, which there's UPS 1, 2, and 3, which all goes on years of experience, and pretty much what you've done in your educational career that will align you with the pay that you're entitled to, essentially. So we've got people who are locked into long-term contracts who are very, very experienced, had a lot of time in education, like 15 plus years, 20 years, who are earning, double the daily rate, and things like that. So it's it does depend, and it does depend on the school. I can see your comment there, as Liv mentioned as well. If there's inner or outer London, the pay scale is quite different, and what the school is actually labelled as, depending on their area, of course. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, mate.
Yeah, we have like long-term sheets we can send you as well, because yeah, it will depend again, like in like Bristol and stuff. It's all kind of relative, so depending on what area of the UK you're living in as well. Obviously London costs a lot more to live in than like Wales, for example. So yeah, and then Tash has just asked about a range of schools, like Catholic, private, public, independent. Yeah, we work with a big range of schools across the UK, trusts as well. And yeah, and Haley's asked if you don't have a teaching degree, that's fine. Similar like Jamie, you can be a teaching assistant. Yeah, you can probably take over if you want, Jamie.
Yeah. But so obviously we offer teaching assistant roles, but we also offer something called cover supervision or cover supervisors, who step into the school as the overseer of the classroom for the day. So what that is, the school provides you the work, and you are the overseer, the cover supervisor. You hand out the work, make sure the students are just getting on with their work. If they've got any questions or concerns, you're the go-to for the classroom. You're not expected to go and write out big long things on the whiteboard behind you and teach as such. The work's provided, you just hand it out, which is a really good option for people who are looking to get into teaching and get that feel for being in charge of a class and things like that. And we do have a lot of options. Schools do have a lot of cover supervision need at the moment, which we find to get a lot of cover supervisors out. But that's another option as well. Again, along with that, we have admin roles, we have groundskeeper roles, we have catering assistants, lunchtime supervisors, all these sort of things, and after school care as well. If your hours do sort of want to go from 3 until 6 p.m, we have those things as well as an option too.
Yeah.
I just moved on because I thought we were talking about that as well.
Yeah.
I think we've got a
That's
type
the
of
next
roles
slide.
guide that you were here. Oh, that's our support staff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, that was just a couple of things that I was touching on there, the groundskeeper, science techs and things. But yeah, there is quite a broad amount of work for people who aren't Haley a qualified teacher.
Yeah, for sure. And then yeah, a few other questions. Like Sheree, is the supply teacher required to plan and supply the learning resources, or will the normal classroom teacher be responsible for organising this?
Yeah. So yeah, great question. The supply teacher, we'll get notified for the days. There will be some basic resources depending on the school. What will the best thing will happen will, when you get to the school, you'll be informed of who is the head of English or head of maths or whatever you're covering for the day. They'll give you like a lesson plan or any sort of resources that you need for the day. They may ask you, yes, can you follow up with some resources? Definitely. But sometimes you will find that the class teacher who's in the regular will provide work for you. There may be some basic resources we have had educators had to chase up. They said it's not an issue. It was quite easy, and the school's always there to help because they'll introduce you obviously to that head of the whatever subject you may be covering. But we do find teachers will cover maths one period, then English, then science. Those sorts of days, you're not going to find that you're going to be chasing up resources for each individual class.
Yeah, definitely recommend having like some things like in your up your sleeve in case. I always have like a few games. I'm a primary teacher, so having some games or like activities and things, just in case. But yeah.
You'll get lots of good ideas as you go around as well. So you'll start to really grow your resources as you go. I mean, don't in the first week, and then you'll just get better and better.
Should we keep going through and we can answer some questions at the end? Or
yeah, I was just going to say, while we're on this page, curriculum wise, New Zealand, Australia are very closely aligned to the UK curriculum. We have a lot of similarities, particularly in the primary sector. Just a couple of terms that we don't use, and you may see these and you may be familiar with them if you're using some of the resources from Twinkle. But KS1, that's Key Stage 1, it's just the level of the curriculum for years 1 and 2. And then Key Stage 2, that's the years 3 to 6. They always also call these the infants, the Key Stage 1, and the Key Stage 2 is the juniors. So, but as a primary teacher, if you stepped in and taught what you did today at school, you'd get a big tick for that. They would be really happy with you. So it's quite a nice, easy transition. Secondary, obviously exam-based timetable, that's a big difference for New Zealand educators, but if you're coming from Australian curriculums, again, it's a pretty similar transition over there as well. And as mentioned, we do work with the entire range of schools, the whole spectrum of environments across the geographies. And we've sort of touched on this now, haven't we? So just in the matter of keeping under time, I'll carry on through. Pay, so we'll just touch on these, but just to highlight, and again, we've talked about pay rates here, but we do have a couple of bonuses as well. So if you do sign up to the ambassador scheme, this is what Liv spoke about earlier, before you go, then you are eligible for a £250 relocation bonus. That's towards the cost of your flights over there. Once you've taught a term, I think it's 60 days, then you get that paid out. If you accept a long-term role, so if you interview with school and accept that before you go, then it's a £500 relocation bonus or up to the cost of your flights over there. So just makes it a little bit easier. The other good thing with the ambassador contract is it's really helpful for you when you're getting into a flat as well. So they do like to see if you are just doing casual work, it's great to be able to show them you've got a guarantee of income coming through.
I can definitely, like we've highlighted, I'm sure throughout this whole entire webinar, the community and events is a huge part of us as a company. So pre-departure events, that was a photo taken a few months back. So we have them, try to have them every school holidays, usually in definitely Melbourne and Sydney, and they're really a great way to meet people before you head over. We've got one coming up in Melbourne in January. We actually had a big international event 2 weekends ago, 2 Fridays ago in Melbourne, for those who have recently arrived as well, but those that are going, it's really good, again, to meet people get everyone's Instagrams or whatever before they head off. We've got an awesome Facebook community, which is educators moving to the UK. Again, like great to meet people posting there if they're looking for like a flat, someone to live with, that kind of thing, and up to date with events. And then those welcome events, and they tend to be in the UK like kind of every like term, and then we have like monthly socials as well, which is kind of like an induction, if you will, I guess. I don't like using that word, but just a kind of an introduction to like teaching and working in UK classrooms and things. Again, meet people that have just touched down. You can meet your consultant and things. Like with Jamie was saying as well, like joining a sporting club if you wish. Heaps kind of going on all the time, so which is epic.
We'll follow in the follow-up email, and we'll send you a link to join that Facebook group as well if you haven't been able to bring it up. So reasons to choose us, there's lots of reasons which we've covered tonight, but I'm not sure that we've highlighted much, but our blog is amazing. You can go into there and pop anything in and you'll get some really good resources coming through from there. So it's been going a long time. It's a big wealth of knowledge for you, and there's things like resources, or what's it like being a support worker, a teacher aide in London. Lots of stuff in there. We have a learning management system, so once you've partnered with us, you'll be given access to a big library of professional development. The Facebook group we've mentioned, and the information packs you'll be sort of supported with as you work through the pipeline. And we've touched on all the rest of these things as well. So just the fact of having someone on the ground, local in your country, and you are connected, as you know, early on as well, with the teams over in the Northern Hemisphere too.
This was a campaign we've had running for the year, which is just wrapped up, but we do have a great partnership with Kentucky as well. So if you're looking to head over to the UK, like I said, I did one for a month before I moved like properly to the UK, and I met one of my now best friends, and that was back in 2017. I did that on the trip. So like you literally never know who you're going to meet, but great way to like tick off the main kind of cities, like Paris or like wherever you want to go. But that's a 5% discount as well using that code, which is good. Highly recommend.
So where to from here? We normally, if you haven't spoken to us already, we normally start conversations at any stage. We are here to help. So if you just want to have a chat and talk through possibilities and options and how things can go, but we start working quite closely with you anywhere from a year out from arrival into the UK, and we'll connect you with the UK team once we've got CV and you've got an idea of when you're looking to go. So the first step is to book in a call, as mentioned. So you can either use those QR codes and do that now, or you will get that follow-up email, and that will have our booking links in there as well. So that's what we're here for. Sometimes people just want to talk through, and how do you think? I'm thinking about this, how's it going to work? So we can just chat about your plans.
Yeah, definitely.
Questions, right? So we've sort of come around a full circle back to questions. But if we go back up through,
there was a question Cherie's popped through. Is there an age limit or preferred age? Definitely no like preferred age. I would just say that the visa is like if you need a visa, if you have a UK passport, then that's fine. You got the golden ticket. You can head over whenever. But yeah, this is visa restrictions. Obviously, they're out of our hands. We can't control that aspect. But yeah, that would be the only, I guess, cusp to that in terms of that side of things.
I just saw Tash also mentioned or asked if they're on a long-term contract, do you get paid during the holidays, and do you get sick and annual leave? Those there are certain contracts where that can be with the school, depending on the length of term. So definitely can be an option for your short short-term blocks, up to a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and those sorts of things. Not necessarily, but there is a bit of information that we can send you on when that does apply. You can get leave, like annual leave and sick leave and those sorts of things up to a certain length of period that you book in.
And then Haley just asked, would it be possible to also study in the UK and work? Again, it's around the visas. I don't know if you can study on the youth mobility visa, but you can get like a student visa. Oh,
yeah, and also cost as well is something that
Yeah.
you'd need to look into, because
Yeah.
you'll be charged as an international student, so it
Yeah.
would be quite
Expensive.
pricey, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Did anyone answer Tash's question about getting taxed differently?
No,
Did we look at that
I
one?
haven't seen that one.
So taxed differently as you're on visas and not permanent resident. No, generally the tax annual amount that you earn, and you get, how much do you get a year tax free? Like 12,000 a year tax free. The first, how does that go, Jamie? Pass that over to you.
Yeah, it was.
I'm a
I think
primary
it
teacher.
was. It was 12. It was 12 up to 12,000. It was tax free.
Yeah.
On that.
But you
Yeah,
just
that first.
just
Yeah.
tax like normal in the UK.
Yeah.
And obviously in Australia we've got your super, or like your KiwiSaver, which is for Kiwis. Over there they have the pension, but you can unenroll out of it, which is great if you want to do that. If you don't want money sitting in that like super fund essentially, as well. So yeah, just your tax comes off. And then you also get the £150 a day net or gross. So that's £150 a day is net. Sorry, yeah, gross, and then just the tax comes off that. We don't charge anything as an agency. There's no extra cost for you. It's a free service. We don't take anything out of your pay as well. And like I said, that's like the base rate. So yeah, it does depend. And there's 2 different ways to get paid in the UK, which we won't unpack now. But that is also, that's £150 PAYE, if you know the two. But yeah, we can talk about that at a later date because it's confusing.
Definitely.
What else? I think that was, how does the pay compare to Victoria, Matt? Yeah, great question. Australians get paid a great salary, and I feel like I can say that as a Kiwi from New Zealand. The pay in Australia is significantly more than I'd say like a lot of other countries. So yeah, I think in comparison it's probably not as much, would you say? But I think it's kind of relative to, yeah, like when you're living over there, and that kind of thing. You're earning pounds, you're not earning dollar, you're spending in pounds and things like that. So yeah, it's just different, I guess, for everyone. But I don't know what your, like how many years you've been teaching for in Oz or anything. But
yeah, I think definitely with the pay conversations, we'll reiterate that £150 is a base rate. Like that's our starting rate. So the conversation is definitely there with your consultant, whoever you're coming over with, and say they will look at your experience, they will look at what you've done teaching wise and things, and they will obviously have that conversation with you in regards to what daily rate is suited to you. So don't feel like everyone's going to be stuck on that, and you're not going to be stuck on that forever, of course. The conversation's always there to have, and don't be afraid to have that with your consultant, because we understand that. I understand as a TA coming over, it was a bit of a taboo sort of subject, but it's not. We want the best for you as an educator. We want to be able to provide you with the work for the pay that you're sort of expecting. And the conversation is always there to have. So yeah, don't feel like it's not.
Yeah, and we're super transparent about it as well.
Definitely.
Like, don't be afraid to ask. We can tell you how much you'd be earning on a contract compared to supply. And then, yeah, again, the 2 different ways of pay, which we haven't really talked about, but there is that option as well. So, yeah, I think you have to be there so many in the UK. So we're there to help with that. And then the ambassador program, I think the base rate doesn't change for the base rate if you're ambassador or just doing casual, like some day-to-day supply work. That won't change. Ambassadors still considered, I guess, like a casual aspect. It would just change, that base rate would change if you're on a contract. Yeah. That be what you, anything else to add to that?
We didn't talk about compliance much. Oh, sorry, Jamie.
No, go ahead. All good.
I was just jumping on to the next one. Apologies. We didn't really cover compliance because we we organise that for you as you go, but you definitely do need work references. So if you're a new grad, you'll need references from your 2 associate teachers. Otherwise, if you've been out teaching, you'll need your last 2 years. If you're looking for teacher assistant work, then we'll be looking to contact any other work references that you have. So we'll be looking at you to cover the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You'll also need police checks as well. So you'll need a police check from your country, and everyone needs to have an English police check as well. That's a compulsory thing. So we do make sure that all of the compliance side of things is all done as we go.
Yeah. And we support you through all that. And the compliance team are great, and yeah, really get you cleared for work before you leave your home country, wherever that might be.
Okay, has anyone got any more questions? We otherwise will roll on to say thank you. You may still have time to go and watch your favourite program or go out to the pub and have a drink, unless you're in New Zealand, unless you're a secondary teacher, and then you've probably finished up anyway. So thanks for joining us. We will get that email out to you. We will have this as a recording as well, so we'll get that converted. So it will either come out to you tomorrow or by Friday at the latest.
Yep. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you have any questions, let us know. But yeah, enjoy your evening.
Yeah, no, thank you, and enjoy
Thanks,
the
Jamie.
nice weather while you can. Enjoy the nice weather.
Yes.
Thanks
Obviously.
everybody.